Hi everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, April 22nd. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining with us again this week. Now, I've got a lot to talk about today. We have a really important week coming up next week with the House of Representatives here in Massachusetts taking up their version of the fiscal year 23 state budget. But before I get into the details of that, let me just first of all remind you of two upcoming Mass Retirees members-only meetings. A week from today, on Friday, April 29th at 1 o'clock, we will be holding our next Teletown Hall event. Remember, there are two ways you can participate in our Teletown Hall events. One is by receiving the automated phone call from us at 1 o'clock as the meeting begins. All you need to do is answer the phone and you'll be automatically connected to the meeting. The other way you can participate is by calling the toll-free number that's contained in the newsletter on page 3. Every newsletter, every edition of The Voice on page 3 contains our events calendar for upcoming Mass Retirees events. The phone number is the same for every event. So it is published in the newsletter, it's published in today's email message to you, and if you've renewed your membership with us for 2022, the number is also on the back of your membership card, along with our toll-free hotline and all of our personal contact information. Should you ever have an issue or a problem, or you need to contact one of us off hours outside of the office, those numbers are there as well. So those are the ways you can participate in the meeting. We will be talking about the full range of issues that we're working on from the budget, and the budget will have just happened, so we'll have the latest information on that, the latest news on the Social Security WEP reform, latest on healthcare and what's happening with the GIC's procurement process. So that will be next Friday. Then 2 weeks from today, on Friday, May 6th at 11 a.m., remember 11 a.m. is the start time for our in-person area meetings. And as we have announced, we will be back meeting with you in person starting 2 weeks from today at the Peabody Marriott. The address that is in the newsletter, unfortunately, and I apologize for this, is incorrect. It's not Continental Drive, it's Centennial Drive in Peabody. That information, the address, again, is in today's email blast that we're sending out. It's also on the Mass Retirees website at massretirees.com to give you the correct information. But it's Centennial Drive in Peabody, 11 a.m., Friday, May 6th. We are so excited to see you all again face to face, and we will be announcing additional events as this year moves forward. We're going to start slow. We're going to see how things go on the 6th. As I said last week, we really don't know what to expect in terms of turnout. But this is our area meeting for the North Shore. So if you live in another part of Massachusetts, there's no need for you to drive to Peabody. We move around our area meetings throughout the state over the course of the year. So we will be in your neighborhood really soon. But I really want to jump into now the heart of this week's message. As I said at the outset, this coming week, the House has taken up the budget. As we announced last week, the House has included a 3% cost of living increase on a $13,000 base contained within the House Ways and Means version of the budget. We have filed two amendments to the budget. Amendment number 1136, filed by State Representative Ken Gordon from the town of Bedford. Representative Gordon is also the House Chairman of the Joint Committee on Public Service, so he's a member of the House leadership team and a good ally of our association. Representative Gordon's amendment changes the 3% COLA for state and teacher retirees to the full 5.9% COLA, that the CPI COLA that is applied to Social Security benefits for 2022. So it essentially would double the COLA for state and teacher retirees for this current year, for FY23. The reason why this is so important really doesn't need any explanation. We're all living this. Inflation is at a 40-year or even a 50-year high at this point. The price of gasoline and groceries and consumer goods, pretty much everything that we depend upon in our day-to-day lives is getting more expensive or has become more expensive. And because of that, we believe that our members need additional relief in the form of a higher COLA payment for the coming year. So that's the First Amendment. That amendment also contains a section allowing local retirement systems at the city and town level and the district level across Massachusetts to allow the local retirement boards, if they choose to also increase their local COLA percentage up to 5.9%. It doesn't mandate it. The state cannot mandate that cities and towns take this action, but we want to make sure that we're providing the ability for local retirement boards to take action in their local communities to provide some additional relief to their members. And I know that we have been hearing from quite a few retirement boards and retirement board members across the state who are very interested in pursuing this if they're given the opportunity. Many of our local retirement systems have done extremely well in terms of investment returns over the past decade or more, and our local retirement boards would like the ability to share some of that success with their retirees. So that's amendment number 1136. The second amendment, amendment number 1411, filed by State Representative Mark Cusack from Braintree. Representative Cusack is the chairman of the House Committee on Revenue. Very important committee. He is also part of Speaker Mariano's inner circle of legislative leaders. So he's amongst the top leaders in the House, and we are very fortunate to have Representative Gordon and Representative Cusack supporting both of these amendments because it puts a lot of heft behind what we're trying to do here. Representative Cusack's amendment applies specifically to the state and teacher retirement systems and state and teacher retirees. It would increase the COLA base for state and teacher retirees to $16,000 in $1,000 increments over the next 3 fiscal years. Now, in a perfect world, we'd love to be able to go straight to $16,000. But by phasing it in, it makes it slightly more affordable and palatable for the state to implement this. This is very much a work in progress, so the timing could shift as the House is debating the budget next week and they're crunching the numbers of how to make these things work. It's really subject to change, but our initial proposal is to get to $16,000, phase it in over a 3-year period of time or a 3 fiscal year period of time to get that base higher that would benefit all of our members. Now, it goes without saying, again, these are necessary changes, and in terms of the COLA base for state and teacher retirees, the last increase of the base took place 11 years ago in 2011. And if you look at the growth of the state pension system and the teachers' retirement system over the past 11 years, it has been phenomenally successful. And we believe that some of that success, those excess asset gains that have occurred because of the great work of Treasurer Goldberg and the Prim Board and Michael Trotsky, who's the Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer, of Prim, they have done a tremendous job on your behalf. But the important thing now is to take some of that success and share it with the beneficiaries of the system, because after all, it's your money. That fund exists to benefit you and for future retirees, and we don't think it's asking too much that some of that success be shared. So what we have been doing is working with our legislative sponsors, and for each one of these amendments, as of the recording of this video, which is taking place late Thursday afternoon, we are nearing nearly 60 co-sponsors on each of these amendments, and it runs the complete gambit of the legislature. This is truly a bipartisan effort. As I said, the two sponsors of the bills, or the amendments rather, are members of the House Democratic leadership team. However, we have House Republican leader Brad Jones from North Reading has signed on as a co-sponsor on both of these bills. State Representative Matt Muratori, Republican from the town of Plymouth, has signed on to both of these bills. Sean Kelly, another Republican legislator, has signed on to these bills. So we are gaining co-sponsorship across the political spectrum, which is wonderful. And that's what makes our ability here in Massachusetts to work and to improve benefits for you so successful over the years, is that this approach is truly bipartisan. And I can't thank those legislators enough who have stepped forward and are prioritizing these amendments as something that they want to put their name on, and that they're going to help us get this over the finish line. Contained in today's email blast to all of our members are links that you yourself can go and you can read the full text of both of these amendments, as well as the list of co-sponsors who have signed on at that period of time. That way you know if your local state representative is one of the co-sponsors. And between now and the 1st of next week, we're anticipating being able to obtain hopefully several dozen more co-sponsors on both of these amendments. The last thing I want to mention, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, is we quite frequently will get questions, particularly from newer members or newer retirees, really trying to understand why is it that we have a COLA base and why isn't the COLA applied to the full pension benefit the same way that the Social Security COLA is applied to Social Security benefits. The simple answer is that our retirement system, our defined benefit retirement system, simply wasn't designed to work that way. Because it's a defined benefit pension plan, by law here in Massachusetts and around the country and the other states that have a defined benefit plan, we need to fully fund the benefits. And every time we add new benefits, like a new COLA benefit or a higher percentage than what was anticipated, those new benefits have to be paid for. Under Social Security, it is strictly a pay-as-you-go system. No money is being set aside, it's not being invested, there are no funding schedules. The money coming into the Social Security system is funded through the federal payroll tax. That money comes in and it's immediately used to pay benefits. It's strictly a pay-as-you-go. Again, our public retirement systems work in a very different manner. And from the time they were designed, right after World War II, they were modernized up until today, the plans have never worked to accommodate paying full COLAs. So from the very beginnings of our association in 1968, right through until today, one of our main focuses over the years has been advocating for incremental increases in the COLA base. And we've had great success over the years in doing that. Until recently, we hit a bit of a lull that resulted in the aftermath of the 2008 financial collapse. It took quite a while for the pension systems to recover. So in the case of the state and teachers, we're a little bit behind where we should be at this point in terms of the COLA base. But we're going to continue to make the incremental improvements. And as the state reaches closer and closer to being fully funded in 2036, the goal is to continue to increase the base. What we would like to ultimately see is the base at the state level as well as the local level to reflect the average Social Security benefit that's paid here in Massachusetts. And for 2022, the average Social Security benefit in Massachusetts is somewhere around $20,000 a year. So the goal would be to get the COLA base up to that $20,000 level and then have it grow over time as inflation increases those average benefits. But we're going to keep working at it. Stay tuned to our website and our Facebook page and our hotline, and then next Friday, our meeting and this message, we will provide a full update for all of you. Again, I want to thank those representatives who have signed on to these amendments. They're so important. It's a critical time for our association, and we think right now the time is right to strike and finally make some of these long-term needed improvements to the COLA base, as well as providing some additional benefits at the local level. But thank you for tuning in today, and we'll be back to you again very, very soon. Take care.